Hey everybody, this is Amy from Home Sweet Gardens. This is May 13th, 2021 for my weekly garden tour. I'm in growing zone 6A in northwest Missouri. It's still, I think, technically spring. We've had some cold bits here and there. It was, I think, 37 when I left for work this morning, but now it's high 60s, absolutely gorgeous. It's supposed to start raining tomorrow sometime, I think, and rain all weekend. Of course, it's going to rain on the weekends, never when I'm at work. So I've gotten a lot of things planted. I only have a couple of things left. I have a couple watermelon and cantaloupe to get in the ground. I started the seeds on them. A wax melon that I'm going to plant is still pretty small, so I'm going to wait a little bit longer for that one. Excuse me. I have some bee balm that I purchased this last weekend that I need to figure out where I'm gonna put it. I'm not sure yet. It'll take over, so I want to make sure wherever I put it, it's gonna be a place that just can kind of go crazy. I could put it in a container, but I'd like to put it in the ground where it can spread if at all possible. A lot of things are coming in. I've gotten a few things from the garden, some asparagus, my yod pha, which is Chinese kale, or Chinese broccoli. It is doing well. I've taken a few cuttings from it, a few cuttings from my Portuguese kale. I got a small head of broccoli already and picked some radishes that have been going. I'm actually growing them for Friend because radishes are too hot for me. But other than that, things are just starting to take off. So I'll give you guys a tour of where it's at. So I'll turn this thing around and we'll get on with our garden tour. So I always like to start off with just an overview of the whole garden. I think it kind of gives a really good idea of how it's coming along and how large it's grown. I've expanded it by about double since last year. And I went back and was looking at some pictures when I first started. When I first started gardening about 10 years ago, well, about 12 years ago, I plowed this whole section here. And I put a few things in and the weeds took over and it just was overwhelming, and I gave up and said, forget it, I don't want to garden, it's not for me. And a couple of years later, I thought I'll try again. So I ended up getting these two boxes. This one here and that one there were actually kits that I got from Lowe's. They were on sale. And they came with a trellis thing on the side of each of them. And I put them separate like that. And I filled them with dirt. And I planted the strawberries there, and I did some zucchini and squash there. Strawberries gotten their flowers on them. This batch here has been here for about 10 years, and then it has spilled over, of course, and then gone through here. We ended up having to mow them and whatnot. A couple new additions. I just put flower pots up there. They are filled with vinca. They look bare right now, but they're pretty. And they fill out quite a bit, so they're kind of wimpy. It was cold this morning, so my grapes are doing well. Filling out. I really trimmed them back. I'm trying to keep them. I'd like to get some decent sized grapes on them. Seems like I've got a lot of grapes, but they've been really small. So this year I'm trying to get them to where maybe they're a little bit bigger. My raspberries, it's finally starting to grow some. Don't see any sign of flowers yet, but I'm hopeful. My bleeding heart, my coral bells, I just got two new ones. This little purple plum color and then the lime green one. I'm going to plant them down here with the other ones and let this whole area fill up. Should be very pretty. Okay, so here I have Kakuzi melons. They really looked wimpy when I first put them in. They went through a real significant shock, but they've started to come out of it and looking really good, vining out nicely. This one, when I planted it, the stem split, but it still had the leaf and some of these, so I cut it. So I'm hoping it will come back. Just short stubby thing. These are that one over there, the one that I had to cut, and then these two down here, these are all Harvest Moon. If you look, here is a little harvest moon coming on. Yay, I'm so excited. Doesn't take much, I know. Some new flowers I planted in my wash bin. These will fill out and take over and be really pretty. And peas are doing well. It's about time I need to put another set of string up. I had to put this wire because the birds kept cutting my burlap string that I had. Every day I'd come out and have to retie it, so I said, forget it. So I went ahead and put that wire up, and I will put another one up as it grows up again. My loofah gourd, got one there. Oh no, they are not happy. They looked fine yesterday. I would say that cold spell last night probably got to them. Oh no, isn't that just a booger when they do that? Hopefully it'll come out of it. Looks like the other one did the same thing. That makes me wonder if it was the cold or if it was something else. I don't see any pests anywhere. Looks like these leaves here might still be okay though, so I don't know. The other one's not wilted. So, man, I don't know, we'll just have to see. Green beans. These are, what is that? Desperado bush beans. They're starting to come up. I put the bedding down to suppress the weeds and help with the moisture. This is the original asparagus patch I put in, and it never has really taken off. It's always had just one or two, and that's it. It's not happy there. And so that's why I ended up planting another bed of asparagus. And I've actually gotten quite a few of them from here. It's to the point now where I'm about to stop cutting, like those right there. Look at this one, kind of a mutant one. It's curling. It's strange. And then the purple ones are just massive. I have the purple and then the traditional green. My eggplant are not happy. They're starting to come up with new leaves. That cold spell, that first spell we had a while back, wasn't happy, and it looks like last night's again might have gotten them. Hopefully they'll pull out of it. My clematis is so pretty. Eventually the whole thing will be covered, but here's the flowers of the one. That's my oldest clematis that I have. And then I've got the purple there. And that's actually like a deep burgundy. And then I've got purple down there. And this one, I don't know if it's going to survive or it looks like it's still trying. It's coming up through here, but there's no flowers on it yet. Oh, I take that back. There's a couple right there. So, but I can't remember what color this one is. I want to say it's a different color blue, but I may be wrong on that. After I plant stuff and then I forget what it was. I keep the tags, but I don't know. I lose them again. More of the Finca, that's the Pacifica mix, and then the lipstick mix over here. And again, they'll bloom out and fill up the vase, the planters right there. My onions and my garlic are looking great. Again, I planted those last fall, so they've grown through the winter. And I'm not sure, I gotta look it up. If you know, should leave me a comment. When onions start to bloom, should I cut those off or do you let them bloom? What do you do? I've had onions, little ones I've tried, but this is my first year really planting onions, so I'm not real sure. I read with garlic that when the bottom leaves start to dry, that they're ready. So it looks like they're about time. That you can pick them earlier, but they're not quite ready yet. My tomatoes, I have 40 tomato plants, 28 Martino's Roma, 7 Bonnie Best and, or 8 Bonnie Best and 7 of the white Tomasol. So this one here's got a little bit of a burn type leaf on it. There's a couple of the Romas down here that look like they have a little bit of issue. But other than that, they're doing really well. I'm debating on whether I should water them or wait, because like I said, it's supposed to rain. They don't look too bad. Of course, the white Tomasol and the Bonnie Best are indeterminate. My Martino's Romas are determinate. So depending on how they grow, I may have to take this cattle panel or hog panel and move it down to give those support across this line. I don't know, we'll see how they grow. And then an update on my crazy plant. It smells like a tomato. It feels like a tomato. But it sure as heck don't look like a tomato. I don't know what it is. So, if you have any idea or comments or thoughts, write it below. Let me know, because I truly have no idea. I think when I bought the seeds, I think the company must have maybe gotten a seed mixed up in it or something. It's the only thing I can think of, which can happen. I get most all my seeds from Baker Creek, excuse me, in Missouri, and burpee.com. I have green tiger zucchini, which I have a couple coming on, so I was going to show them to you. They're kind of neat looking. Here's one right there by my finger. Kind of cool looking. A couple of these were on them when I planted them, so I don't know if they'll get bigger and not, having to cut them off. But I got those there. And then these are the butter stick squash, basically like your yellow squash, just not crooked like your crooknecks. And there's a couple there. I'm going to have squash and zucchini coming out of my ears, I swear. And then more butter stick. And then those are the zucchini rampicante, which are a squash. They're long and curled. And of course, I've got the trellis for them to grow up and over because they're a vining. And they've really taken off rather well. It had a couple of weeks of really warm, and then we had a week of cold. And then now it's been like, kind of warm and then kind of cold. And so as soon as we have some consistent warm weather, they will spring back up and take off. My alums, they're so pretty. That one is so weird. I don't know what happened to it. But it got a little curlied. I've got butter crunch lettuce, little gem lettuce. I've got to get in there and thin it out. I'll wait until I get a little bigger. My rose bushes, climbing rose. My black nebula carrots. These are the darkest purple you can get. I'm pretty excited. They take a long time to grow though. There's my other climbing rose. Starting to get some flowers on it. Yay! Kohlrabi. They came in pretty sporadic. I'd planted all this stuff and then it rained pretty hard, so kind of washed it around. Brussels sprouts. I had to put the green sticks in there because the wind blew really hard a couple nights ago and it was blowing them over. And then the Yodfa that I thought was a Brussels sprout and turned out it wasn't. So that's okay. My butterfly bush. Here I have planted potatoes, red potatoes. In this tub, I just put them in, I want to say Saturday, so hopefully they'll come up here in a little bit. My peony bush is beautiful. It's taking over. It really loves it. About 7 years ago, I planted it up at the house. Didn't really know anything about it, about peonies, whatnot, and it was in full shade, and it never really got very big, so I transplanted it, and it has doubled in size in just 2 years. This was a bunch of strawberries that had grown in here and transplanted, so I dug a bunch of them up and sent them with my coworker so she could have some strawberries. So I think I'm just going to let them come in here and then use them to transplant. Here's the other set of strawberries that are grown across. So I have them here, And then over there too, so I get a ton of strawberries. They're June bearing. Here's my other peony. This is only its second year. It looked like it was maybe trying to put flowers on. I don't know if they'll have any on there or not, but I think they take a little while to establish. And my chimes, aren't they absolutely gorgeous? I just love chimes. Okay. My oregano that I had transplanted, doing well. The radishes, man, look at this one. What the heck? And isn't that strange how, see, it was all tops and no bottom. Yet some of them are so small and have really big bottoms, so I don't eat them. I grow this. The same neighbor that I'm giving that I gave the strawberries to is the one that I'm giving the radishes to as well. So some of them are pretty good size, some of them aren't. That one's not quite ready to go. Not quite. Oh, that one might be. Maybe a little bit more. My Portuguese kale, got 1, 2, and 3 there. That one looks really good. My Yadfa, you basically just cut this part off right here, and that's what you eat. And it just keeps coming back. Beets, doing well. Funny story, actually, when they were first growing, I took my tool and I thought they were weeds, and I raked through on accident. But some of them actually came back, but oops. These are the Suyo long cucumbers. There's 2 on this side and 1 on the other side to grow up and over the trellis. These are Armenian longs. They don't look so hot. Again, though, we've had some really strange weather, so I think it's just kind of gotten to them. Cabbage. Amazing white cabbage, I think it's called. Hopefully I'll have a cabbage getting started. I've never been able to grow it. It always seems like it gets so hot, and I never actually get a head of cabbage, so I'm really hoping I get some this year. Broccoli is doing well. That's the one I actually got the small head of broccoli off of. There's a little one growing right there. See? Let's see. Just planted some extra flowers out here. I've got my patio kind of organized and cleaned up a little bit so I can have my umbrella out. I love to just sit out here. It's so pretty and peaceful. My thyme is really taking over. If anybody's watching the early videos, I'd put these bricks down and then put this thyme in, and it's really filling in. I like it. It looks really good. I have to come through periodically and pick the weeds out of it, but don't you have to pick weeds out of everything? And then here, oh look, well, they're not doing too bad. They got flowers on them. Hopefully they'll come out of it. We're at California Wonders here, and then the banana peppers, and then I have some of the habanada peppers. So those right there by the trellis, that is lemon cukes. That one looks pretty good. The one on this side looks like it's dying. So weird how one will do it and the other one won't. I don't know why. They were both really healthy when I planted them, but you know, that's just unfortunately the way it goes, right? So that concludes the garden tour. I hope you enjoyed it. If you have any questions, comments, go ahead and write them down below. If you have suggestions or comments, or especially if you know what that one plant is that is a pretend tomato plant, that would be awesome if you could let me know, because it is driving me crazy. I'm curious to see what it's going to turn out to be. Probably something that'll end up taking over the planet. And if you've made it this far, thanks for watching. Appreciate you hanging out with me. and thumbs up and subscribe to my channel. I put on weekly garden tours and other videos, different things that I think you might like, or things that I like to do and want to share. So until next time, happy gardening.